So I was asked three specific questions. Number one, what are the Epstein Files? Number two, why do they matter? Number three, Ghislaine Maxwell, how does she factor into this? Because, by the way, she's appealing to the Supreme Court. Well, let's get started. The Epstein Files, you remember him. He is the financier, wealthy financier, well-connected financier, you might recall, who was arrested as it related to his abuse of young, underage women, girls, who are flying in interstate commerce, that is between state to state, to ultimately satisfy, allegedly, his sexual exploits. As a result of his arrest, he was at a prison facility wherein he committed suicide. Or did he not commit suicide? Or did he just die? Or was it just a coincidence? All of that will be something for you to determine. What we can determine is that there was allegedly a list, the Epstein Files, and in that file were a number of people who were enabling him, who were assisting him, who were down with him, who were engaging in activities with him, and that list was supposed to be released and revealed to the public, such that we could know who he was running with, what he was doing with, who, when, what, where, etc. Now we're told that there is no list, by the way, so that's the Epstein Files. Why is it relevant? It's relevant because in an era of transparency, inquiring minds want to know, what was Epstein doing? Who was he doing it with? Who were the people he was involved with? Were they people who we might know? Were they people who are serving in our government now? Were they people who served in our government previously? Were they business people? Were they private people? Who were they? That information would come out in the event the Epstein Files were released, but there are no files, we're told. But is there a file? We don't know. We may never know, or will we? Those are questions that higher powers will answer. Now, in terms of Ghislaine Maxwell, if there was no Epstein list or files, what is she doing in jail? You might recall that Ghislaine Maxwell, let's make the connection, she was a girlfriend of Epstein, and she apparently was a person, according to our government, the Southern District of New York Prosecutor's Office, because she was prosecuted for enabling Jeffrey Epstein to do what he was doing. She was prosecuted for grooming. She was prosecuted for conspiracy. That's when you would agree to engage in criminality with someone else, and that someone else was Jeffrey Epstein. She would go out, was the allegation. She would groom these young girls. She would then get them to travel in interstate commerce between state to state for the purpose of prostitution. That's a crime. She was convicted of multiple counts along those lines in terms of this sex trafficking. You recall what that is. We just went through the Diddy trial. And as a result of that, she was convicted in December of 2021. She was sentenced in June of 2022, and she got again 20 years. Well, now she's appealing. There's a number of things that she's appealing based upon her conviction and based upon her sentence, but here's what matters. What matters is that she filed an appeal, and that appeal was rejected by the appellate court, that's the Second Circuit, and they said there's nothing to see here. Now she's filing to the Supreme Court. The essence, although she makes many claims, is that she's protected by a non-prosecution agreement. What is that? That's an agreement that Jeffrey Epstein entered into in Florida in 2007. Yes, 2007. And in that agreement, where he entered a plea of guilty relating to a state charge in Florida, where the government, the federal government, said, we won't prosecute you, right? And admit your guilt, you'll do 18 months, it's all good, and we will not prosecute you. NPA, non-prosecution agreement. And in that agreement, not only did it say that we won't prosecute Jeffrey Epstein, but it said we will not prosecute any of his co-conspirators. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell, to be clear, is not mentioned amongst those parties, but it says, the prosecution agreement, we will not prosecute these four individuals, right, including but not limited to. Ghislaine Maxwell says, hey, I was part of the people that you said that you weren't going to prosecute, but you prosecuted me anyway, and you put me in jail. Shouldn't I be subjected to that agreement? And shouldn't the United States government keep its word when they say they're not going to prosecute anyone? Government says, not so fast. Number one, you're not a named party. Number two, it was limited to Florida, and Florida can't bind New York or any other jurisdiction. The United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit agrees. We're going to find out what the Supreme Court says, but at the end of the day, are there these files? Are they not these files? If they're not these files, what's she doing in jail? I'm a big person of transparency. Release it to the public. Why? Because inquiring minds want to know. May the law be with you. See you on YouTube and or Substack for more.